welcome everybody. It is wonderful March, Holy Week. Yes, March 27th, 2018. And we are so glad to have everybody here tonight on Pam's Healthy Tips. And we're here to share with you this natural health revolution, which has definitely changed my world, all of our friends that are on here tonight, and we are glad you are joining in so that you can learn a little bit more about it as well. So fast flashback, a few years back, I was 100 pounds heavier than I am right now. I also was contemplating, they were wanting to put me on blood pressure medication. I didn't want to have to go that route. My dad had a pacemaker and my sister had a heart attack 2 years ago. And I was like, I need to change what I'm doing. But diets just don't work. That's why I tell everybody die is the first three letters in diets, D-I-E, because after a while they die out. You can't stay with it and never stays consistent with that. So along came friends and we found this company, Zija International. And this product right here, this Super Mix, is what helped change my world. And many of you, I know, and we're going to hear from Marva tonight and how it helped her wonderful family as well. And now she's sharing the natural health revolution. So this little packet has what we call Moringa oleifera. Now there's 14 different species of moringa, so you want to make sure you get the best, which is here, Moringa oleifera. It's over 500 peer-reviewed studies that have been done on this. And also, so we know it's backed by science, and there are 90 plus nutrients in this one little pack. So what you do before you go to bed tonight, I will go in there and get my little shaker bottle, pour this in there and shake it up, put it in the refrigerator, and then tomorrow morning get up and that's the first thing I do. So every morning, the first thing going in my body is this Super Mix. And it has 36 anti-inflammatories. So you can think about putting one Advil if you were having some issues going on and you wanted to kind of help your body. 36 anti-inflammatories are here, so huge. 46 antioxidants, your omegas 369, 20 amino acids. So it's amazing what is in this one little pack, which is packed full of nutrition, the right nutrition. So it's going right into our cells and going in through a liquid form, which is also the best because it's going right in where it's soluble into our cells. And so your body's getting what it needs first thing in the morning. We also have a core plant protein that also has the moringa in it as well, and that is wonderful to use. There's also many products that the company has, but the basis is this core moringas, which we're going to talk about tonight. So without further ado, I want to get into our speaker tonight, and I met Marva 2 years ago when here we're both from Texas, and we were in Las Vegas, and I went and actually was a speaker at that event along with Pat Anderson, and we had some great times that weekend. And of course, between the breaks, we're all out talking to everybody, meeting people. Well, then I saw Marva. She's got this beautiful smile, glow about her, and I was like, "Where are you from?" And she's like, "Oh, I'm from Belton." And I'm like, "Belton? I have friends in Belton. Near Temple?" She's like, "Yes." And long story short, Sue Stakely, who is on this call as well with us this evening, they knew each other. I think did y'all go to school together, Marva? I think, or knew each other from the area, I know. And so I'll let her tell her story. But Marva and I, so you know how you just find those new little sisters in your life and you just connect, and then it's like you feel like you've known each other forever. That is how I felt with her. The people that were around her, you could just tell. She was just electric. People love her. She's helped so many people. And I'm just thrilled and honored to call you my friend and to have you on tonight, Marva, sharing how these products have helped you, your beautiful daughter. And now you're reaching out and helping so many other people with this as well. So I'm going to turn it over to you. Everybody give a round of applause, even though kind of silent. You can show your appreciation to Marva for being on. And Marva, why don't you just tell everybody a little bit about you and maybe your before Zija and then your after Zija story so that they can hear how these products have impacted and helped you and your family.
Oh, thank you so much, Pam. It's such a pleasure to be on this call with you. And I too, once I met Pam, she's she's just so special to me. And we did click it off just right immediately when we met each other. And it was a wonderful time. And I enjoyed so much listening to you speak at that meeting. And I knew that from now on we would be friends. And this is great. And then to know that Sue, that just lives a mile from me down the road, is your special friend also. And that's so great. I thank you for the opportunity of being on this. I get a little bit tongue-tied and scattered when I do this, but it's such a pleasure to have the opportunity of sharing about ZJUS, because this has been such a big thing to me. The way that I got started with this was I actually am a nutritionist. My major is in nutrition. I taught nutrition. It runs in my family. My mother has 3 different degrees in nutrition, and all of my life, this has been very important to us. But unfortunately, even though we ate right, even though we tried to eat right, the way that our food chain is so adulterated today, we haven't been getting the nutrition that we needed. And this is really sad. And so when I first was introduced to ZJUS, and the way that I was that I was with another company, and I absolutely loved it. It was not a product-driven company. It was a services company. And unfortunately, through no fault of the company's, no fault from the company, that company was closing its doors. But before it closed its doors, the founder of that company, Paul Orbison, called our leaders and said, you really need to take a look at ZJUS, because this is a company that has the same philosophy that our company had. It has a philosophy of giving, of sharing, of loving, of helping. It is a product company, but it is also a company that's 100% debt-free. The founder is amazing. So take a look at it. So when our leaders got this information, then they started calling some of us and asking us to take a look also. Joel McNitch, as most of you have heard, called me on a Thursday night, right after we'd gotten the word that we were going to be closing our doors with the other company. And he said, Marva, some of us are going to fly to Kentucky on Sunday. We're going to stay till Wednesday. I'd like for you to go with us. He said, think about it, let me know. And I didn't even think about it. I just said, I will be there, because if he recommended it, if he was going to look, I had so much faith and confidence in him, and faith and confidence in Paul, that this was what I was going to go look. So I went, and one of the things that I heard was that if we decided that this was an avenue that we wanted to pursue, then we could get started with some products for about $330, something like that. So I told my husband, I said, make sure that in my personal account, I have that amount of money in case I decide I want to pursue this. I had no idea what I was going to find. But so we flew out to Kentucky, and before we went, I called my daughter, who was basically bedridden with Lyme disease. And I told her, I said, I'm going to go look at a product company. And I know nothing about it. I don't even know what the name of it is, but I know it's something that has Moringa oleifera. I'd heard that and gave her just a little bit of information. And I said, I'm going to go look at it, and I'll let you know when I get back. So I went, I saw, I didn't conquer, but I was ready to conquer by the time we left, because I'd heard so many wonderful testimonies. And one of the things I called my husband and I said, I said, I'm hearing so many personal testimonies that are so amazing about how people's health has been improved, that I think I want to try some of this and bring back some products. And I said, I want us to have our own testimony. Will you do that with me? And he's assured me that he would. But then I got a call from my daughter, at the one with Lyme disease. And she said, Mom, how quickly can you get back with these products? And I said, well, I pretty quick, I think. And I said, why? And she said, I have been researching it. I've researched it top and bottom, sideways and backwards. And I think this is going to be my answer. And when she said that, I still have a hard time telling this story without tears in my eyes. I thought, if this is going to help her, then this is my answer, because I had prayed about it. God, what do I do? And so I decided I'd come in with a diamond kit and get started. So I called and said, make sure there's enough money in my account for the diamond kit, because that's what I'm going to do. And so I got back with it. On Sunday, I had product. I drove to Corpus Christi, where my daughter lived. I took her some product, and I told her, I said, on Saturday, Chris Estes, the man that introduced us to it, is going to be in Texas, and he's going to be training. And I said, I'm going to be learning more about it. She said, oh, Mom, I'd really like to go to that. And I said, well, why don't you just meet me? Let's meet. And it was going to be in New Braunfels. I said, meet me in New Braunfels. We'll go and we'll learn about this together. And she said, I'll be there. So as she's driving from Corpus and I'm driving from Belton, about 10 o'clock in the morning, I get this call from Delynn, and she is crying. And I thought, oh my goodness, what's the matter? Because so many times she had wanted to do things. She had wanted to be a part, and then she would feel so badly that she couldn't make it. And I thought, this is what she's going to be telling me. But instead, I said, what's the matter? She said, Mom, did you know I have been up since 5 o'clock this morning? And it was 10 o'clock in the morning. And she said, and I feel good. Wow. This is the best I have felt in years. Wow. So that got me on the path that I felt like this is something I need to share with everybody I meet. And so that's my passion now. It's my passion to share with everyone the opportunity that we have of gaining health and wealth. And I personally was suffering with arthritis, because at my age, and I always tell my age just because I tell it because I want people to know that it doesn't matter what age you are. Here was my daughter that was younger, that had such amazing results. I'm 77, I think. Yeah, 76. I'm 76. I forget how old I am. I'm 76. But after taking this product, I can now go up and down stairs. I can now close my hands. I can now play the piano that I was having difficulty doing because of the anti-inflammatories that we find in the Supermix. And so that's my story, and it's my passion and my love, and I just love the opportunity of sharing it.
Oh, well, thank you so much. I mean, just hearing you talk about that, and we can hear it in your voice, when your child is suffering, and I don't care what age they are, they're always our kids, right? No matter what
That's
age.
Right.
And as parents, we just want to love and take care of them and help them however we can. And I know I did ask you because I wanted everybody to hear this from you. You said, she had been pretty much bedridden because of the pain and everything that she'd been going through. And would you mind telling everybody how quickly she was pretty much up and going again?
Yes, this day that I was talking about was simply 5 days after she started taking the product. And today it's just amazing to see, that she's gone through a lot during the last 5 years. She's lost her husband. She's had, tragedy happen in her family that she said she would never have been able to have coped with had she not had the healing that she'd gotten from the moringa.
Wow.
And I think you also want me to tell a little bit about my mother.
Yes.
My mother is 98 years old. She's actually 98 and a half. And when we first started with this, she's the nutrition guru. She's the PhD in nutrition. And but she was suffering from high blood pressure, and they just couldn't get it regulated, no matter how hard they tried. It was a revolving door with her, in and out of the hospital, with her high blood pressure. And so I had actually told my husband, I said, I've got to call my brothers and tell them that mother is not doing well, and just to be prepared. I don't know how long she'll be with us. Let me tell you, that was 5 years ago. Today, she is very alert, doing very well. I have to kind of sit on her because she thinks that she is 16 again and she can go and do everything she wants to do. But she's in a retirement home, but she doesn't waste any. She tells me every day, I didn't waste any time. She goes to breakfast at 5:30 in the morning, even though they don't serve it till 7:30. But she says, I didn't waste any time because I've been crocheting. And then she's painting birdhouses that she gives this gift. So this is my mom at 98, and it's all, and she drinks her super mix every single day.
Mm-hmm. Wow. See what I mean, everybody? I wanted you to hear this because it's not just, it starts going with one to the next, to the next, to the next. And how can you not share, right? When we hear these stories, and to have your mom, oh my gosh, so many times I have said, Marva, you've heard me say it, I so wish I'd known about these products when my mom was alive, because
Right.
I know without a shadow of a doubt, it would have made a difference in her life, but I didn't. So now what I do is I just share with everybody I can so that I can help them and their sweet families, because I know my mom is happy in heaven. So I know that, but it's still, with this natural plant that God gave us, right, been on the earth for thousands of years, but it's the way that our company is harvesting it and the way that we get the full nutrition of that plant that makes the difference from anything else out there. And we are just so thrilled for you and your family, and how these products have helped, and also now how you're, moving, passing it forward. Pay it forward is what we always say. Everything that's coming our way, we share. And so yeah, it's a beautiful thing, as David Moses always says. It's a beautiful thing when we hear these stories come forth, and to know that your mom, I mean, she knew from the beginning, nutrition's key, right?
Right.
And, and you were raised with that. But I like how you said at the beginning, the food source today, it has changed. It's not what it was when we all grew up. And so we've got to be able to find ways that we can get good, healthy nutrition into ourselves. And this is the easiest way that we found, and know how good it's helping everybody. So I'm going to open up. I've got a chat here. Let me see if there's somebody on the chat channel, see if there's questions coming in here. And oh yeah, give us info on her mom. Well, yep, we did that. So okay. So anybody, I'm gonna go over here to the full screen, and so I can see everybody. Anybody have any questions that you would like to ask while we have Marva on this evening? So don't be shy. We would love to hear you with any questions you might have. Anybody? Sue, I know you've got Andrea there. Is there anything y'all wanted to ask this evening? She's trying to unmute, I think. Over your name should be a little button, and it should say, there you go, you got it.
Okay, yeah, Andrea would like to ask one question. Okay, I have been taking a handful of supplements, like vitamin C and probiotics and multiple things, like a handful, and not prescriptions. So I do take 2 prescriptions, but most of it is supplements. So when I started the Super Mix a week ago, I'm having, I don't know if I'm nervous about dropping all my supplements and only doing the Super Mix, and then plus I take a blood pressure medicine and something to lower your cholesterol, and that's all I've been taking. And from going from a handful of medicine to one drink makes me a little nervous, because I've only done it a week now. I feel great, but I just want to be sure there's not something I should be taking on top of, like vitamin C for one, or a probiotic. Now I'm finished. That's the end of my question.
I would be happy to answer that if you'd like for me to. I too, Andrea, I too was taking a handful of vitamins because I knew we needed nutrition. But you know what? I found out that all of those vitamins that we were taking are made in a factory. They're synthetically made, and they really were not doing us any good. Our body was just, they were just going in and going out, but our body didn't recognize the nutrition that we were getting. So actually, you're getting so much more by with the super mix than with all of the vitamins. So you don't need all those. The only other vitamin that I take is vitamin D3, and the reason for that is because that's a sunshine vitamin, and um, it is not in. That's the only vitamin that is not in the super mix. There's
Good.
over 90 verifiable vitamins in the super mix, so you don't need it. Okay.
Well, good. Thank you so much. I do have a lot of vitamin D, along with lots of the other ones too. I don't know what to do with all the things I'm not going to use anymore.
I know. I hear you.
I've committed myself for a year, so I'm going to do
Yeah.
it at least for 1 year and see what happens.
Okay. Also, Andrea, you were talking about for your cholesterol and all of that. When I first got started, I had my annual physical, and I took the information to my doctor about Supermix, and she's a friend, so she's one that would listen and pay attention to what I was doing. And she looked at it, she studied it, and she said, "You know what?" She said, "Why don't we do our own research on this?" And I said, "Okay, what do you want to do?" And she said, "You take that the way you're planning to without anything else," because I had refused to take my cholesterol medicine because I didn't want to. And she said, "You take all this and we'll do our own research." And I said, "Okay, what do you want me to do?" She said, "Take it for 6 months. Then I'm going to schedule you to come back. We're going to do all your blood work again and see what happens." I went back in 6 months, and she brought out my blood work, and she was shaking her head. And she said, "I can't believe this. All of your blood work is absolutely perfect."
Then you
She said,
stop your cholesterol medication cold turkey, and you just stop taking it?
I never took it. Because I refused to take it because I kept reading all the side effects.
No,
And so she kept telling me I had to take it. And I said, "I'm not going to."
well, I've been
So
on it
I
for
didn't
2 years.
take it.
I know how to get off.
Yeah. And but all my cholesterol is fine now. My my husband was pre-diabetic, plus he had AFib, plus plus. He is off all of his medications now too, and his blood pressure is perfect and so forth. So
He took blood pressure medication?
yes, he did,
Well, how
and
did
he
he get
doesn't need
off?
it anymore.
How do
His
you
doc,
know you don't need it anymore? I mean,
his doctor, he went back to his doctor, and his doctor looked at his blood work, and he kept shaking his head. He said, "I don't understand this, but all your blood work's perfect." And so he said, "You really don't need this." So
but he was
that was
taking the medication up until that time when he went
he
to the
was
doctor.
yeah, he
He
was.
didn't just drop it cold turkey.
No, he didn't. He didn't just drop it cold turkey, but now he has. He
Mhm.
doesn't take it anymore because his blood works perfect now. Yay!
Thank you, thank you.
Yeah.
Blood work doesn't necessarily show your blood pressure.
No, it doesn't. But he takes his blood pressure, or he was taking his blood pressure periodically, and also he has, after you've had high blood pressure for a while, the symptoms,
Right.
and his blood pressure's fine. Every time he goes back now, uh, his blood pressure is just perfect.
Yep.
Hmm.
That
Okay.
is
I
awesome.
wanted to
Yeah.
ask my doctor how to get off my blood pressure medicine. I know I can't just stop taking it.
Yeah, right.
I'll have to figure out how
No,
to
I never tell anybody just to quit taking anything.
back off.
That's not my place to do. But this is just the things that has happened in our family.
Mhm.
And but the doctor did take my mother off of her blood pressure medication. Also took her off of Coumadin.
Wow. Wow, that is amazing. That's great. It
Mhm,
is.
mhm.
That is amazing. Also, if you know Judy Watland, Sue, I know you do. I'm not sure Andrew's met her yet, but Judy Watland was also on blood pressure medication, and she is no longer on hers as well. You know, I've always heard that old adage, once on it, you'll never get off of it. But we've known
Yeah.
people that have, their doctors have taken them off now. And so that's the goal, is to be where you don't have to take it.
Well, I would love that. I mean, that's my goal too. I don't want to take either one, but I've got to figure out how to get off of it safely.
Sure.
And,
Sure.
and how, you know, I just don't know. I'll ask my doctor, tell him what I'm doing with the super mix, and then I'll just say, how can I test this by getting off my blood pressure and whatever, I can't remember the name of it, what I'm taking for my cholesterol. And I guess he'll suggest how I get off of it, because I really don't know.
Yeah.
Well, let me just say, some doctors will, some won't. Some will kind of, you know, push it under. They don't believe in natural things, but
Right.
Yep, that's very true. So you have to listen to your body as well too, and then make the choice that's right for you. I agree, Marva. We've had some that, you know, some doctors, they're not, and others, they're right there working with you so that you can get off of it. Yep.
Okay.
I want to jump in. I have a question about the coupon. First off, for Andrea, make sure you're on it for a while. Don't try to get off of it after a week. Give it a chance to work.
Right.
But I've had people that are scared to take the super mix because of the vitamin K content, because they're on Coumadin. Then you just said that you got your mother off of it. So can you elaborate on that a little bit, please?
I sure can. My husband is still on Coumadin, but they keep lowering it and breaking it down in little smaller pills because he doesn't need it anymore. But they can regulate your Coumadin depending on your personal diet. So when he goes in, they just say, well, have you eaten more vegetables or whatever? He says, I'm just eating the same thing I always do. And he's told him he drinks that. And they just regulate his Coumadin according to what his blood work is at that particular time. So, yeah. And actually, what the thing about this product is that since it is natural, the body recognizes and uses what it needs, and then it discards what it doesn't need. So that's the difference in taking a synthetic pill and taking something that's natural. So that's something that it's hard for us to understand, but that's the way our bodies are made.
Thank you.
Is that?
And how long was your daughter? How long did your daughter have Lyme's disease before she started this product?
When she was finally diagnosed with Lyme disease, she had been diagnosed with everything from fibromyalgia, lupus, MS, every type of autoimmune disease there was, and she had symptoms since she was in high school, and just kept getting progressively worse. And actually, most doctors in Texas don't even recognize Lyme disease. They kind of slough it off. In fact, the last doctor that she'd gone to in Texas had said that she needed to go see a psychiatrist. And so she had a friend, she was doing her degree in nutrition, and one of her study buddies said, you know what, your symptoms sound like what I have. And she said, I have Lyme disease. And she gave her doctor in Georgia that she went to see. They put her on all of this high priced medications and all this stuff, and it really wasn't doing any good until she started taking the super mix. It's a shame.
Yep. And so how many years ago was that? So she was from high school until when did she get the super mix?
5 years ago. She's been on it for 5 years now. And it's just doing absolutely great.
And so what is she, in her 40s about, I would guess?
No, she's 54.
Well, okay, so she had dealt with it a long time.
A long time. Yes, she had. Sure had.
and see it turn around and reverse. It's just amazing.
I know. It's so great to, after all these years, finally get my daughter back, because she'd always been, she was the cheerleader in high school. She was into everything. You know, she was Miss Energetic, and then just started watching her to just, you know, go down, 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 and nobody was helping her, and it was heartbreaking.
Mm-hmm. I can only imagine. We're
Mhm.
just so thankful that it turned around and that she's here for you now. 100%.
100%, yes.
Great questions, guys. Anybody else with questions tonight? I'm going to go over here to the, so I can see everybody. Anybody? Hands up. Anybody else? Awesome. Well, I know, oh, Sue, yeah, go ahead. You need to unmute. There you go.
Can you hear me? I just wanted to say one thing. My little dog, little bitty baby Buffy,
Yeah.
our dog, had to have 15 teeth pulled a couple of weeks ago, and she gets Super Mix on her food now every morning, and she is just doing so good and everything. So it's good for animals and people as well. So I just wanted to say that. Okay.
So glad for little Buffy. Yep, she's a sweetie. Give her a hug for us. Pam says hi, darling. Yep. And I know I'm going to head over to Robin just for a second since nobody else had any other questions. Robin, if you can unmute. I know I posted your results today. You've only been using this for not very long. And can you just tell everybody your lab works today? Maybe just a quick overview on that.
Sure. I started using Zija about the 17th of January, so I'm just 2 months in. My last lab work was in October, so it's been 5 months. But when I went yesterday, my cholesterol had gone from 243 to 212, and my triglycerides had gone from 212 to 181. She was still kind of trying to get me to go on the medication, and I said no. I said, I'm going in the right direction, can we just see? And she said, sure, let's just see what happens. And I was also diagnosed diabetic a few years ago, and when I went yesterday, my A1C had gone from 6.8 to 6.3, and 6.3 is considered high risk. I am on medication, but my numbers are all going in the right direction. And she said I was down 10 pounds from when I had seen her in January for something else. So everything's going the right way. So I was so excited to go yesterday to see.
Yeah.
You know, I know how I felt, and I kind of, you know, I've been watching it at home, my blood sugars and things, but when you go see the lab work, that kind of got me more excited, and kind of gave me that little shot in the arm to say, hey, yeah, this is exactly what you need to be doing. When you put the good nutrition in, your body will take care of itself.
Absolutely.
Amen.
Thank you so much, Robin. We're excited for you. And I know, yes, you're right. And I'm really glad you said no, so that you can keep going, because your numbers are going in the right direction. Just stay the course, because Arlene said a little bit earlier, you have to give it time. You know, it does take, it's not overnight, but we do see it work as long as people will be consistent with it and stay the course. It works every time. So,
yeah. And I just thought 2 months is not very long. So to see the results I'm seeing after just 2 months, then I'm a believer.
Yes, absolutely. Well, Marva, is there anything else that you wanted to add in there?
No, I just want to say thank you for all you do, Pam. You are just an amazing, amazing leader, and I'm just so grateful to have you in my life.
Aww.
And thank you.
Well, thank you. We feel the same way about you, and we're there for each other, and we'll help each other however we can to keep spreading this natural health revolution to everybody. So everybody say thank you, Marva. Give her a round of applause.
Thank you.
And
Thank you.
we look forward to seeing you again, and everybody else hearing more stories this time next week. So next Tuesday, another special guest coming on. You'll see that on Pam's Healthy Tips. So continue to invite and spread the word. This natural health revolution is truly working, guys, and we're so thrilled. And give Delynn, Marva, a hug for us and your hubby. That's so sweet.
I will.
Thank you, guys. God bless.
Thank you.
And happy Easter, everybody.
Happy Easter.
Good
Thank
night.
you so much, Marva. Bye-bye.
Thank Thank you. Thank you.
Bye-bye.